If you haven't heard yet, Palworld or PocketPair, the makers of the game, have been sued by the Pokemon Company and Nintendo. PocketPair is a fairly small company from Japan and a pretty controversial one at that too. As we all know, they made Palworld, but that's not their first game and neither the first controversial one at that. One of their other games, called Craftopia, was said to be a copy of Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. But it had many other inspirations from games like Terraria and Satisfactory. The game was janky and felt like a new company made it. I played the game for about an hour or so as the reviews had good ratings. But within that hour, the game felt like it had potential, but was not polished enough. I did have fun, but I also got addicted to League of Legends at the same time, so I left the game without giving it another chance. The only reason why that game did not make as much noise as being a blatant copy of Zelda was because it was not nearly popular enough, and also the game was janky, so Nintendo might have thought that they wouldn't cause any problem for their IP. But with Palworld, it was a completely different story. It was a night and day difference in gameplay. Both the games were crafting survival type games, but Palworld felt so much more polished. The gameplay was great and roaming around the map was actually fun. And that's exactly the reason why so many people left such good reviews. You can get people to buy a Pokemon-like game where you can give them guns, but if the gameplay was not good enough, they wouldn't have become the game it is now. It broke so many records on Steam, and I believe it became the game with the most concurrent players, or was it only for single player? Whatever the case may be, it is impressive to say the least. I had so much fun playing it, and with friends, we had so many competitions to see who makes the best base, roam around and make the best Jet Dragon in an hour. It was really fun. Now anyone who has seen or played Pokemon once in their life will immediately recognize the similarities in these games. Just look at Anubis and Lucario. It is heavily inspired by it. I don't mind that because Pokemon also took many inspirations themselves, and the games are totally different. Palworld is a survival game with many hardcore meters which the player can adjust, whereas Pokemon is a children's game in its core where people can beat the whole game with just one main Pokemon in their party. That's what I did when I first played Fire Red. My Charizard one-shot even the water types. I won't get into the competitive side of the game as it is fairly hardcore. Just look at Wolfie Glick's videos. There are so many different things that are needed to be taken into consideration for building a good team. The reason why people first thought Nintendo was suing Palworld was because of copy-pasting the Pokemon IP and making a new game out of it. I mean, there was so many similarities. You can catch a Pal in a Pal Spear, just like Pokemon in a Pokeball. You use your Pals to battle, have a party of 6, use them to fly, and obviously the designs. I remember when it was first released, one Twitter user tried to manipulate people into thinking that they took the exact model of the Pokemons and made a new skin over it to look different. He made a video showing every aspect of the Pals and the Pokemon looked the same, even the size. But later it was found out to be false and the user adjusted the Pals in order to match it with the Pokemons. I don't even know why he would do that. I mean, he did get famous, so I think that was that. But there were so many accusations and so many hate towards the game, but it did not stop it from becoming one of the biggest selling games of that year. For me, it showed how much potential Pokemon had if it had only came out of a shell and tried something new for a change. They followed the same formula for decades, and the decline in their popularity shows how outdated it became. With the leaks they suffered recently, they were discussing a new Pokemon MMO, which would be interesting if it came to fruition. But they are pretty adamant company who does not care about what people like. They just like money, and the same formula prints them way more than most of the game studios. That brings me to my next point. I think they sued PocketPair because of how popular it became. They did not have any problem with Craftopia, and they even waited a year before suing them. They might have been searching for something to accuse the company of, because Palworld was not sued for copy-pasting the IP. It was sued because of patent infringement. In one of the tweets that the CEO of PocketPair made, he said that the company was being sued over for patent infringement, but they could not speak more about it because of legal reasons. But now they finally released a statement about the lawsuit. They are being sued over for 3 infringements. One of them is catching a monster in an open world inside a ball. But what you will find interesting is that the 3 patents were filed after the release of Palworld. How would you then say Palworld is patent infringing? Well, there is a law that allows later patent to be connected to a parent patent. So because Nintendo already had a patent, they connected all of these 3 patents to that one and sued PocketPair for infringement. This is borderline scumbaggery and just shows how scared they are of Palworld and its massive success and growth. They must have made these patents in a week, applied for them, and got accepted just to do something about Palworld. Because they cannot sue them for copying their IP, as both the games are completely different. The assets, although look similar, are very different. And not to mention, Pokemon were not the first game or show to release fantasy monsters that roam around the world. So claiming that idea is out of the question as well. This was the only way to stop or at least slow down the company from competing with them. Nintendo, being a multi-billion-dollar company, will not even bat an eye with the lawsuit. I bet they don't even care about the result. But because PocketPair is a small company, they would have to put a significant amount of resources into dealing with this problem, slowing them down massively. So it's a win-win situation either way for Nintendo. The reason I'm saying this is because they are not suing the company for that much. Looking at how much they made off Palworld, Nintendo could have sued them for a very hefty amount, I think. But they asked for 5 million yen, which amounts to around $32,000, which is a lot, yes. But I have seen companies suing each other for way more for way less. The CEO came out in a post saying that they will be fighting this case in court, and we'll see what happens. There is no further information about this case, and PocketPair are not allowed to say anything more either because of legal reasons. Many of the patent lawyers or patent experts have said that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's lawsuit against PocketPair is evidence of threat posed by Palworld, which has since gone on to launch on PS5. Palworld launched earlier this year on Steam. It was priced at $30 and now it's on Game Pass for free for members and also has launched for the PS5. They broke records left, right and center, and the CEO once said that the company didn't know what to do with all the success. He said that the launch was so big that they couldn't handle the profits the game generated. But they did well, getting a signed deal from Sony to release it on their platform, took it to Xbox Game Pass, and kept on maintaining it, fixing bugs and issues with the game, until they had to slow down the process because of this issue. Anyways, that's the story behind the lawsuit of Pokemon vs. Palworld. What do you think about this one? Do you agree with Nintendo and that they did the right thing? Or do you think that they scumbag their way to stop or slow down Palworld? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoyed, hit the like and subscribe button as it helps me out a lot. YouTube recommends this video popping up on your screens right now, which I think you'll like as well. See you in the next one.